Welcome everyone to the OSWA roundtable discussion for April 2nd, 2014. With me today is former Commissioner Clint Eller, and our guest today is one half of the Tag Team Specialist Tag Team. Wow, that's a mouthful. Mr. Jacob Hughes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
So, Clint, what do we got going on today? As far as, we got to talk about the Ninja King Challenge. We've got update on CC. And talking about the ultimate title picture, where it's going.
That's right. Let's talk first about the Ninja King and Wasabi. This is a great a little series of events. Wasabi makes himself at home here at the OSWA, builds a name for himself. Ninja King, who used to be his best friend, is a little jealous maybe, upset that Wasabi left. We're not really sure of this backstory. They've been very quiet about it. But he comes in and he defeats Wasabi. Then his guard, Shinobi, defeats Wasabi. Wasabi takes a little time for himself, decides he wants his shot at Ninja King, and the Ninja King says, I'm not just going to give it to you. You're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to go through the challenges and run my gauntlet. The first of those challenges was not one, but two ninjas, which Wasabi defeated. It was a great match. Wasabi had his hands full, but he definitely pulled out a big win, and now he's got to face Shinobi again. My thoughts on this is that Shinobi's already defeated him, and pretty recently. Does this affect Wasabi going into this match?
I think it really does, because it's a must-win for Wasabi at this point. If he ever wants any shot of ever getting back up to the Ninja King, like you said, Ninja King defeated him. Shinobi defeated him. And he was able to get past the two ninjas, but now I think the next step is back to Shinobi. He gets his rematch, I believe, this weekend, April 5th. He gets his rematch. It's a must-win. I think Ninja King's in his head. I think Ninja King has come in, taken, proved his point, I guess, to say. And I think, if Wasabi can't beat Shinobi this weekend, it's game over. It's game over for Wasabi. So,
Well, the Wasabi character is one we can't fully understand. He's so immersed himself with the ninja culture. It's such a fusion of styles. He's someone that I have a lot of respect for, especially being one of my earliest opponents here in the OSWA. But that dynamic, that rivalry that he has with the Ninja King is something that nobody can fully grasp except those two people. Like I've mentioned before, the Shinobi, that's going to be the highest guard to the Ninja King. Do you think Wasabi ever held that title when he and the Ninja King were friends? He writes those letters, puts them on the OSWA website, and that's looking directly into the soul of the Ninja King himself, and it's a pretty dark character.
Well, you don't know much about, like you said, Wasabi or the Ninja King for that matter. We know Wasabi came in and he has had success, former corporate champion, but like you said, there's a lot of story we don't know. Was he in the same position as the Shinobi is now? What made Wasabi? What made them split off? Why did Wasabi come to the OSWA? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I think as time goes and we see this rivalry play out, I think more will be known, as we go. So
there's such a shroud of mystery with that backstory, and thankfully we have the Wasabi comics to give us that.
That's right. Wasabi #2 just recently released, and I think there's several more of those to come. You've got the Hollywood situation. Hollywood has basically bought his corporate title. He has bought out. Mystic Storm has fallen in twice in these corporate #1 contender matches, and he's bought that contract after watching the guys cheat. Then he buys the contract out. How long can Hollywood go on buying these contracts? We know he's training. We know Hollywood can wrestle. How long does he continue to buy these out before he runs into somebody who's not interested in the green money, but interested in the gold around his waist?
I think it's a very good question. Luckily, we have heroes here at the OSWA, and I think that the depth of their character is going to show through. No matter who it is that steps up and finally puts their foot down and says, I will not be purchased. And I can't take anything away from Hollywood. I mean, he technically is the corporate champion right now. But it's like I've said before, what has he earned? Truthfully, what has he put forth the effort and earned himself?
That's the thing. It's not about, when I was heavily involved with MMA, it was about, anybody can win the title. Well, not anybody, but you know what I mean. But yet the true it comes to defending it. It's not who won it, who can defend it. I think even they don't even let you take the title home until you defend it.
Yeah, you're not a champion.
Yeah, they don't even recognize you as a champion until
you've had that title defense.
Yeah, and I since the TLC match, what has Hollywood done?
Yeah.
Very good point.
Now we want to give an injury update on CC Devlin's eye. CC, as you may or may not know, woke up a few weeks ago, could not see out of his one good eye. His retina had detached. He had to have emergency retina reattachment surgery. And we have gotten some updates on that. He has seen spots and he is seeing some outlines, and so they're definitely happy with the way this is going. CC has told us that he's going to be here this Saturday night at the O Show just to visit with the fans and visit with everybody and let us know he's here. But the big question comes is not when CC will come back. When CC's healed, I have no doubt in my mind that CC's going to come back. But what does Matt Devlin do from here? He's been with his dad as a tag team pretty much ever since he came here. Where does he go? What does Matt Devlin's future look like without his dad? Is this his chance to step out of that shadow and show his own character?
Yeah, it's just something. It's something about being in the shadow of someone who is great or who is up there. And I think Matt, anybody, can relate to that position. There's always been, times that, with family, there's always that person you look up to that you want to be like, but yet you can't quite seem to get out of the shadow because sometimes they cast a big shadow. And I think I want to see what Matt's going to do because I would like to see him in more one-on-one matches. I'd like to see him chase the corporate title, maybe even the Ultimate title one day. I'd like to see him progress and really grow because I think a lot of times you don't really see that. I mean, you've seen it in the big time wrestling stuff. You've seen that happen. You've seen guys get with somebody else, but yet that person is such an alpha, such a big personality that's hard for them to get out. When that person steps aside, you finally get to see what that person can do because you just don't know because nobody's paying attention to him.
Exactly.
Everybody's paying attention to CC.
And I know Matt Devlin personally. I've been in the ring with him recently. Alpha McFly and I were against the Devlins. And luckily Matt has inherited that determination, that iron will that CC Devlin truly embodies. And it's like they say, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog. And both of those guys are like pit bulls.
They are.
They're never going to give up, and that's something that you can really admire, especially in the ring and out of the ring.
And I definitely think CC has instilled in his son Matt that desire in that fight. And I think Matt's going to really step up to this challenge. I'm excited to see where he goes. Speaking of young men in the OSWA, disorderly conduct. 3 young men and a young lady made themselves known. Heavyweight or tag team champions, former. Couple of things on my mind. They lost their titles to the original Ink Inc. It was a hard-fought battle, much harder fought than we expected it to be, honestly. Mm-hmm. But they haven't turned in their rematch clause. They're not even talking about it. And my question is, are they waiting for someone else to maybe take those titles that might not be as big of an obstacle as Ink Inc. is, and I want to get in the ring with them again? Or are they buying their time for something else? Or are they're just scared of Ink Inc.? Which is it?
Well, I think it's really hard to put a finger on. They're a conniving group. And look at the way their ring tactics are. They have Arya on the outside. They have the third member, whoever's not in that tag match. So I wouldn't call it necessarily fear, but there's something there and they're plotting. And the silence is something that's really bringing up all the questions that we obviously have because we don't know what's going to happen with them.
Yeah, silence is a deadly thing. A lot of times my dad used to always tell me I'm not afraid of the person that trash talks over and over and over and over and over and over again. I'm afraid of that person that you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what they're doing. Because silence is a deadly thing. I mean, and either disorderly conduct is they're being very smart or they are scared. Because Ink Inc. is a formidable tag team where they just issued an open challenge to anybody in the back. Anybody could get like you said, get a partner. Doesn't matter. Get you yourself a partner, open challenge, just hit the ring.
It could be anybody from the Ninja King's ninjas to Joe and PK. Anybody that wants a shot at the gold, I think Ink Inc. can back that up by giving an open challenge.
Absolutely, and we've got guys like, you take Mystic Storm, great singles competitor. You take Curtis Coleman, great singles competitor. What if two guys like that decided, you know what, I think we got a shot, and go out there? It's a weird dynamic because though they don't have the tag team experience as, say, the tag team specialists do or that Ink Inc. does, but you got two fantastic singles competitors, they can pull a win off, and it's hard to train for two singles competitors, a lot harder than being prepared for a tag team that you know what they're going to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. Those are two guys that could make it. You got Zach Daniels. Zach Daniels, if he can get his contract back, Zach Daniels travels all over the Southeast. He could bring in a partner, maybe someone they don't know. It opens up a dynamic that's hard to prepare for.
It's definitely that wild card effect.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I think that just goes to show you, the original Ink Inc., what kind of guys they are. They will take on anybody and anybody's brother.
And let's be honest, they're two of the biggest, baddest dudes in professional wrestling today. Mm-hmm. Definitely in Georgia and the Southeast. I would hate to be on their bad side. I am very glad I am past my prime as far as the square circle goes, and I'm not thinking about getting a partner and going out there. Yeah. Not going to happen. Now, we got one other thing to talk about here. We've got the brother versus brother dynamic. You've got the Ultimate Heavyweight Champion, Chad Silva, his brother, Alex Diamond Decker, who has sworn to cause Chad Silva to lose that title. But then there's the wild card in that. Rod Bolt has also made it known that he considers himself the #1 challenger. So it looks like, and it hasn't been officially noted, it looks like, and what people seem to be wanting, is a three-way dance. Silva, Decker, and Rod Bolt. How does that go down? Can Rod Bolt and Alex Decker work together enough to take Chad Silva out of the picture in that match? And then if they do, what's going to happen between those two?
Well, I've faced Rod Bolt before, plenty of times. He's someone that has my respect as a competitor. But he's just wanting that title. And like you said before, brother versus brother, I mean, is it really the title that Alex Diamond Decker's going for, or is it the vengeance? It's hard to determine because what his real motives are, that can set him apart to how he enters that ring, his mindset, what he's going for, his goals.
Well, I think it goes back to the same thing that we talked about with Matt and Cece. I've talked to Alex before. I've sat down and talked to him man to man before about things, and he seems to be a decent guy as far as talking respectfully, but then I asked the question, what do you think about the success that your older brother has had? And it just seemed like that smile just went dark.
It brings the darkness out.
And I think it goes back to that. I think really honestly, I think he really wants to step out of his older brother's way, in his shadow, as far as getting, having more credentials, having more accolades than his brother, and I think he's really driven to do that. But, can't take anything away from Chad Silva. He earned that title. It goes back to what we talked about earning. He waited. Nobody gave him a chance. He was part of the tag team. He split off, did his singles thing. Really wasn't doing anything, and come out of nowhere, cashed in his contract, beat the Monster Z, and he's now the champion, and he's held it since. So can't really take anything away, but yeah, it seems to be developing into maybe a 2-on-1 battle. But what happens if Chad Silva's taken out of the equation? What's Rod and Alex going to do then? They're going to have to start turning on each other.
That's right.
There's only one title.
And Alex is so focused on Chad Silva, you have to kind of give Rod Bolt the advantage in this match, just on the fact that Rod Bolt wants the gold, and he doesn't care which one of them's in the way. Alex Decker is out to prove he's better than his brother, and that could be his downfall in this match.
Because he's not thinking about Rod.
Exactly. And speaking of Chad Silva, it has been issued, got it straight from the commissioner, this Saturday, April 5th, at the O Show, Chad Silva versus Will Caution, the tactical nuke. People want to take Will Caution out of this equation, but Will Caution's been around a long time. He is a very powerful competitor. Since he's been with DC, we've actually seen him become more athletic, a little faster. He stepped up his game. He's got this confidence we've never seen in Will Caution. And I'm not taking him out of this match. And if he can pull off a win, then we've got a whole new match to talk about. But Chad Silva hopefully isn't looking past Will Caution to what's coming up with heroes versus villains.
No, I definitely wouldn't look past Will Caution. Like you said, I think within disorderly conduct, there's a little bit of a rivalry there because they're young kids. They're wanting to make an impression on the fans and the powers that be in the OSWA. They want their time, and I mean they're young. And they're definitely on the rise as far as especially Will Caution. Like you said, he's become faster, more athletic, and I hope Chad doesn't look past him. I really don't. I really hope he doesn't, because if he does, then we might be talking about Will, Rod, and Alex next time. So
that is true. We've got a lot of new acquisitions coming from the commissioner's office. Rumor is we've got some old talent coming back. We've got some new talent coming in. Very exciting things going on. Coming up to heroes versus villains, right? First show in May is at the May 3rd.
May 3rd.
May 3rd, right here in the Osho Arena. And what is a match you guys would like to see? What is a match you'd like to see on this card?
Well, just like we were talking about just a second ago, I'd really like to see if that personal vendetta can get past the professional vendetta. You've got Rod wanting that gold, but then you got that personal vendetta. I just really want to see who comes out victorious in that match.
Mr. Potter?
I just want to see Mr. Hollywood defend his title.
That would be, it wouldn't matter who it was against.
Because I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen him physically get in the ring yet since he won the TLC match.
That's true. There's a lot of new guys. It'll be their first heroes versus villains. Curtis Coleman, I'm interested to see what he's going to do here. Mystic Storm, I know he's got his eyes on that corporate championship. But the match I'm really looking forward to, hoping that it happens, I'm ready to see Vengeance and Z Williams, the monster, come nose to nose. We know Vengeance is here for other things, but his focus is Z Williams. Two big, powerful men. I'm very excited to see if this comes to a head between now and heroes and villains.
That will definitely be an interesting match. Like you said, Vengeance, he's on a mission, but I think he picked the biggest and the baddest guy in the locker room as his first project, I guess. And I don't know what goes through the head of him. Maybe he thinks, maybe it's like on the yard. You go after the biggest and the baddest first. That way you establish yourself.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. You pick on the bad dudes. Sometimes the bad dude gets you back.
Exactly.
We got a great date coming up, April 19th, the Apple Car Show. Mr. Popham?
The Apple Car Show, Saturday, April 19th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the historic Cornea Depot. We're going to have soapbox racers there. I think our main sponsor, Georgia Hapkido Academy, Hapkido Martial Arts for men, women, and children. They will be there with a car. I think the Old School Wrestling Alliance, OSWA, will be represented in the Soapbox Derby. It's very exciting. If you like soapbox cars, I mean, it's definitely something to check out. Also, look at some of the other sponsors. We have Aaron's Year One and Scorpion, which is Farm and Garden of Cornelia. They'll be there as sponsors.
They're having a barbecue cook-off.
A barbecue cook-off.
And that might come into play for the OSWA having a show there at the actual festival.
Who's actually going to be not too full to wrestle.
Exactly.
But the interesting thing is we're going to be there from 10 a.m. To probably around 4 p.m., maybe a little earlier. And then we're packing up, coming right back to the arena that night, April 19th, for our go-home show, our lead-in show to our big show of the year, Heroes and Villains.
That's right. You can see a double dose of OSWA. And the great thing about these festival shows is that it's a lot more personal. You can get right up. You can meet the guys in between the shows. And you never know who's going to get out there and go after each other. Sometimes we've had brother versus brother, father versus son, tag team partner versus tag team partner. You just never know what's going to go because we just kind of go to them open and roll the dice and see what falls. Very exciting. Mr. Popham, would you like to take us home?
Well, one more thing I just want to say really quick. May 3rd, Heroes and Villains will start. Every year we do this. Our Humans to Heroes anti-bullying tour for 2014. A lot of this, we go out, we go to the festivals here in the area. We promote, anti-bullying awareness, and it's pretty fun as far as, getting out there. We have some guys that come out that dress like, I would say, victims of bullying.
Yes.
For the lack of a better term. And and then we have bullies, and then you got to get to see, does the bullies win or does the bullies lose?
That's right. Humans to Heroes is that tour. If you'd like to get information on that, or if you'd like to get tickets, just give us a call here at the OSWA.
And we will have because we will be visiting a lot of festivals in the area. Just head on over to oswaentertainment.com to the calendar. We'll have those dates, times posted, and information, so that way you can get your weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, tri-weekly dose of the OSWA festival season coming.
That's right. And we've got Wasabi 3 in the makings. The rumor is that the Mystic Storm's first comic book may be in the makings, and that a possible OSWA Origins comic book, the beginnings of the OSWA. I heard there's a Toad Man that was a villain back then, some kind of female barbarian, just some crazy bad guys that we had to deal with in the beginning of the OSWA, and I'm excited to see that. We've got the next set of trading cards coming out at Heroes versus Villains. Really glad, that's exciting.
And not to mention our 3 t-shirts that we're fixing to release here very soon. We've got Alpha McFly now has his own t-shirt, Disorderly Conduct, and the Monster Z. The one I'm looking forward to the most is the Monster Z.
It is a good looking shirt.
And we'll be reselling these after
the last run.
2 straight sellouts.
It'll be the last run. This will be the 3rd run of the OSWA original shirt. We've sold out twice. This will be the last run. It's the last chance to get this version. And also, the last whispering that I've heard, and I think this is big, that a possible trading card game or board game based around the OSWA arena is in the makings. Now, I cannot confirm nor deny this, but the word is out that that may be something that's in the makings right now. So, Mr. Popham?
Excellent. All right, well, that's the conclusion of our roundtable discussion today. With me today was former Commissioner Mr. Clint Eller and our special guest, Jacob Hughes. So go ahead and send us off there, Mr. Jacob.
Well, I'd just like to thank all of our O fans for watching. Be there Saturday, the next time you wake up, and it is Saturday. That evening, 6 p.m., the doors are going to be open. Call if you want to get some pre-tickets. I know we've already selling out the VIPs, selling out front row seats, so you might want to get them as soon as you can, so that way you're guaranteed a spot in the arena. For Bobby Popham, owner, former Commissioner Clint Eller, and myself, Jake Hughes. Thank you very much.